What's going on, man? It's your boy Big June, man. Back at it. Got another episode with Big June Sports Talk Podcast, man. I'm doing this one with a heavy heart, man. There's a lot of things going on in life right now as far as 2022 going on for me and my family, man. But, we're going to persevere. We're going to keep our faith in the Lord, and we're going to keep going through, It's a rough time right now, but, one thing that I always use as a crutch growing up, no matter what it was sports, man. You know what I'm saying? For comfort, you know what I mean? So I'm going to do it again and, talked about doing this Derek Jeter episode. So I'm going to give it to y'all, the captain, you know what I mean? But before I get into that, just a couple of things I just want to get off my chest and shit, man. As far as, I'm going to just keep it sports because this is what this platform is basically what it's about. I plan to go live for the first time on YouTube, maybe this Friday, and discuss the Hall of Fame ballot. You know what I'm saying? Because it was the last time Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds was eligible as far from the player standpoint, right? Because they could get in later on through the committees like some of these other pioneers do. But I do want to congratulate David Ortiz for entering the Hall of Fame. It's a prestigious honor. And some would say that, they question his eligibility during that, I won't get into all that, but I would say that, if you're a baseball fan, you know that he got cut by the Minnesota Twins and resurfaced and revitalized his career in Boston and became, Big Papi or whatever the case, whatever they call him, right? But also in that Boston fold was a notorious steroid user and a good friend of his, Manny Ramirez, right? But we'll leave it like that. That's a whole different episode. But be on the lookout. I should be going live on YouTube for the first time. Should be this Friday. Discuss a little bit of that. Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, and just do some universal, sports walk, some sports talk, And, it's a beautiful thing when we get together and talk sports, man. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Everything and anything associated in the sports world, Big June touches it on this platform, man. You know what I'm saying? And, all episodes ain't gloomy. Basically all bad and ugly. This episode right here is like what's good for the game. Not only for the game of baseball, MLB, but for the sports in general. Because rarely do you find one who did it the right way, consistently, with one team, you know what I mean? Breaking numerous records on the diamond. So, without further ado, man, this episode here is called The Captain, Mr. November, Derek Jeter himself. And before I get into the numbers, let's just reflect right now on what do we see as far as Derek Jeter, the businessman, part of the ownership of the Miami Marlins, right? A husband, a father. It's a beautiful thing as you see someone grow up during their career and keep evolving. Now, as a man, as a father, as a husband. And this is what he does. And he does everything with excellence, right? Because this is who he is. He's Derek Jeter, the captain, Mr. November, Mr. Yankee, the first Yankee with 3,000 hits, right? And before I get into the numbers and all that, I ain't going to, knock my man Derek because he was the epitome of a Yankee, without a doubt. Part of the call for, but in your boy Big June's opinion, don't punish the podcaster, don't shoot the messenger. But my boy Bernie Williams was supposed to be the first Yankee with 3,000 hits until they ran him out of town, right? Shout out to Bernie doing this thing with the guitar. And, if anyone should get into the Hall of Fame now that these so-called cheaters or known cheaters are even on the ballot to get serious consideration, shouldn't Bernie Williams and Paul O'Neill, part of the last dynasty in MLB, get consideration? Hey, I'm just throwing it out there, man. Might be a Yankee by heart, is in the pedigree, pinstripe, it's in the DNA, but it is what it is. So, let's get into this Derek Jeter, man. Born June 26, 1974. Made his Major League Baseball debut May 29th, 1995. And last appeared in the game on September 28th, 2014, at Yankee Stadium. Let me give you a little recap of that, right? His last plate appearance, in Yankee Stadium, he produced like he was accustomed, like all of us was accustomed to seeing throughout his illustrious career, right? One last hit, sent the crazy stadium rocking, crowd in a frenzy, a game winner. Patting his swing to the right field, another game winner for Derek Jeter, right? It's crazy just to know that that was his last moment as an active player, right? Because the last series was in Fenway, and even though he was in the dugout for the entirety of the series, he never suited up as far as taking the field or even playing as a DH. So, those memories in Yankee Stadium for all the fans, to witness one of your favorite players going out with a bang like he always did. A game winner. Like, as much as it's surprising that it really wasn't surprising when you think of the name, when you hear the name of who did it, of who's accomplishing this feat. Once again, it's your boy Derek Jeter. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, man. And before I get into the numbers, man, I just want to reflect on that last hit, right? Your boy Big Joe, man. He was sitting like a duck in Rikers Island, man. I was a C-76 at the time. Just had turned myself in a couple of months, starting to do an 8 months sentence, 1 year, however they want to call it, city terms. I was listening to the shit on the headphones, and a lot of shit just passed through my mind. Like the whole career flashed through my eyes. Like, wow, from the debut, from hits in the postseason, to the monumental home run in the World Series, the game changer, game setter, game trending against the Mets, right? The play against Oakland, the flip, Giambi at the plate, diving into the stands. It's just crazy when you think of some of the moments this man has given us as a fan, as a Yankee fan, as a baseball fan. You know what I mean? It's an exciting time for your boy Big Joe, man, because I know it's been long overdue, and I promise y'all this episode, and here I am giving y'all this Derek Jeter, the captain episode, right? 20 years, all played with the Yankees. We all know that. Like I mentioned earlier, married, wife name is Hannah, 2 daughters. Right? But now let's get into the little funny side of this, right? Derek Jeter received 396 out of 397 possible votes, leaving him with a percentage of 99.75, the second highest behind teammate Mariano Rivera, and the highest by any position player elected into the Hall of Fame, right? So when you think of that one vote, who didn't want to give Derek Jeter the unanimous call so he could go in like his man, Mariano, right? The Sandman. And be on the lookout for that episode as well. Because your boys, I'm about to start dropping it heavy. I'm going to have to find a way, but I'm going to do it. Where there's a will, there's a way. And this is what we're going to do on this platform, on Big Juice Sports Talk Podcast, man. We're going to keep talking that shit, man. You know what I'm saying? A 14-time All-Star. 1998 through 2002. 2004, 2006 through 2012. And 2014. 5-time World Series champion. 1996, 1998 through 2000, 2009. World Series MVP, 2000. American League Rookie of the Year, 1996. 5-time Gold Glove Award winner, 2004, 2006, 2009, 2010. 5-time Silver Slug Award winner, 2006 through 2009 and 2012. 2-time Hank Aaron Award winner, 2006, 2009. Roberto Clemente Award winner, 2009. Named the Yankee captain, 2003. Number retired. Obviously, the number 2 retired at Plaque Monument Park. The Yankees' career hit. Excuse me. Let me slow down for a second. I get excited. You know what I mean? The Yankees' career hits leader with 3,465 doubles, with 544 games played. Excuse me. Give me a second. Okay, breathe in, breathe out. Have some patience with your boy Big June on this episode, man. Mind floating in a whole different areas. It's a different time right now. You know what I mean? But anyway, man. Career hits leader with 3,465. Career doubles leader with 544. Games played with 2,747. Stolen bases, 358. Times on base, 4,716. Whether it was a walk, getting hit intentionally, double, single, etc., etc. You know what it was. The man was a magnet when it came to being on base, right? Plate appearances, 12,602. And at bats, 11,195, right? These are all Yankee League career records, right? Ranked 6th all time in hits and first among shortstops. Let that sink in for a second. 6th all time in hits, first at shortstops. Highest percentage by any position player elected into the Hall of Fame. 1 vote short of unanimous, same way his teammate was, right? Mariano Rivera. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves, man. You know, he won the World Series MVP and the All-Star Game MVP in the same year, 2000, right? Now, let me give you a couple of the playoff numbers, World Series numbers, everything sprinkled all together, right? This is what your boy Big June does, man. He just keeps digging the surface, right? A career batting average of 321 in World Series play. I'll give you some playoff numbers, right? Games, 158. At-bats, 650. Runs, 111. Hits, 200. Doubles, 32. Triples, 5. Home runs, 20. RBIs, 61. And base on balls, 166. I mean, you know, the numbers speak for themselves. His playoff numbers is like what he'll accumulate during the course of one season before the playoffs, right? Now, let me give you some World Series numbers, man. 38 career games, 50 hits, 3 home runs, none bigger than that. One in 2001 against the Diamondbacks, right? Runs scored, 32. RBIs, 9. Batting average, like I mentioned earlier, of 321. 321. When the light shine, the brightest, it was never too big for that man, right? The moment was never too big for Derek Jeter. A career 321 batting average in World Series play. I mean, come on, man. Who does it better than the captain, bro? Who? I'll wait. We can discuss this, debate it. It is what it is, man. Let me stop for a second, right? If you're a real fan of the game, when Derek Jeter came up, he wasn't the marquee name as far as shortstops, now was he? Because you also had Nomar Garciaparra with the Boston Red Sox. You had a young A-Rod in Seattle. You even had a wizard with the glove, crosstown rival, Ray Ordonez, right? Remember all of them with no shirt on in the magazine and all that, right? But if all the names I just mentioned, with the exception of A-Rod, who's currently, on the Hall of Fame ballot, good luck with that. But who had a better career? Who had sustained any type of career similar to Derek Jeter's? I won't even mention legacy. We'll just mention career. Yeah, that's what I thought. It is what it is, man. A lot of people need to put respect on Derek Jeter's name for the simple fact of what he accomplished, what he stood for. Even early in his career, right? New York, it's a party capital. So he got sucked up into the spotlight, the limelight, a little party here and there. That was the wildest, that was the craziest Derek Jeter did, right? Because he did it the right way for 20 years. Led by example as a captain. So, what do? They spin the narrative and turn it to a positive. With the late, great owner George Steinbrenner joining Derek Jeter in the commercials at the club partying. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what type of Derek Jeter was. And, he mentioned it in his Hall of Fame speech. It was amazing. And just listening to him, and you could close your eyes and you could visualize some of the stuff that he was mentioning. And, as a real Yankee fan, I seen them. I was questioning why Tony Fernandez didn't get the gig back because he did get hurt You know, Tony Fernandez was one of the top shortstops at the time as well. Switch hitter, getting it done for many years, right? So here comes this unproven kid from Michigan. And, you know, he took the world by storm. He took the Major League Baseball world by storm, right? Winning Rookie of the Year in 1996, right? Including the game-winning RBI hit to end the game in his final bat in Yankee Stadium, right? Like I mentioned earlier in the episode. Like, how do you write that? Like, you know, how do you write that, man? Such a historical career, down to his last at bat, had one trick up his sleeve left, one magical act for the fans in the Bronx in attendance, for the people watching it on TV, for the few who were listening on the radio, like your boy Big June was in C76 that year. One final act to remind y'all guys, all of y'all, of the greatness of number 2, Derek Jeter. From the patented jump move, shortstop, hitting the hole. You know, the list goes on and on. But now, right? Because you know your boy Big June, he always digs. So, I found this interesting nugget, right? So, I thought I needed to share this with y'all, right? But let me give it to y'all, right? The Houston Astros held the first pick overall in the 1992 Major League Baseball draft, right? Hall of Fame pitcher Hal Newhouser, who worked for the Astros as a scout, evaluated Derek Jeter extensively and lobbied team management to select him, right? Fearing Jeter would insist on a signing bonus being a top pick overall or top 3 that year of a bonus of at least $1 million, right? To forgo college, because he was going to go to Michigan, right? To play for University of Michigan Wolverines, right? To forgo his college career to play and suit up for Houston Astros in any capacity within the organization, right? So they chose Cal State Fullerton's outfielder / third baseman, Phil Nevin, who signed for a signing bonus of $700,000, right? Now let me slow that down for a second, right? For any one of you guys familiar with that name, Phil Nevin, yes, he was just recently fired as the third base coach of the New York Yankees under Aaron Boone, right? But coming up as a prospect, he had so much hype surrounding him. Like, I remember those baseball cards, and it was like, oh, I got me a Phil Nevin. Like, yeah. You know what I mean? I got me a Phil Nevin. So basically for $300,000, they settled for Phil Nevin, who never panned out in Houston, by the way, and left Derek Jeter. On behalf of the New York Yankee fans, New York City, New York State, I want to thank y'all. I want to thank you for being cheap. From the bottom of my heart, sincerely yours, Big June Sports Talk Podcast, man. Avid Yankee fan. Thank you once again, right? Newhouser felt so strong about Jeter's potential that he quit his job with the Astros in protest after they ignored his drafting advice. Newhouser felt so strong of what he saw and evaluated. And was he wrong? Was this man's assessment and scouting report wrong on Derek Jeter? I mean, this is what they get paid for, right? I mean, his assessment and scouting report on Derek Jeter was solid, 100% solid. And they chose to ignore it. This is the difference between a winning organization and a losing, dysfunctional organization. And yeah, the Astros are now making perennial playoffs all the time and have won a World Series, but also have a scandal under they rocked them. We're not even going to mention that. But let me continue with this nugget, though. Yankee scout convinced that Jeter was a Hall of Fame bound urged management to draft him with the 6th pick, signing him for $800,000 to forgo college ball. So basically, looks like Houston Astros got bluffed. If this was a game of poker, fearing that Derek Jeter was going to ask for $1 million to forgo his college career, and eventually end up signing for $800,000, and they settled on Phil Nevin for $700,000. I mean, I ain't the smartest man in the world, but I remember them telling me when I was younger, you got to pay to play. And if you know what that means, and the meaning behind what I just said, it is what it is. Right? Bro, by the way, that was G. Michael and the scouting department for the New York Yankees at that time, right? I mean, phenomenal. We all know the history now. I mean, like, running into the stands, the flipping Houston, the patented jump man, the home run against the Diamondbacks. Jeter missed significant time, dislocated his shoulder opening day of the 2003 season, colliding with the back catcher at home plate. Jeter was always all effort. You see, that was one thing that a lot of people understood. If the captain was leading by example, running hard out the box, trying to beat out a regular routine ground ball, then so can you. If a future Hall of Famer is still in the cage, getting extra reps, batting practice, doing the small things to continue with the success he's had, then so can you. You see, like Jeter always led by example. Wasn't big with the vocal. Right? And even when A-Rod came aboard and became a member of the New York Yankees, it was still Derek Jeter's team. He never folded, shortstop his minds. Yeah, we'll welcome Alex into the fold. He'll be right next to me at third base. This is my team. This is my spot, my slot. And for all the people that question why they didn't switch the positions and his fielding, the man won 6 Gold Gloves. With those charity awards, 6 times they gave it out for charity to Derek Jeter. I mean, all the knocks on his defense. Some of these young ball players are doing that patented jump man in the air, throwing to first base, home plate, double play, comeback, whatever the case might be. They got that for number 2. And now as you see some of these young ball players coming up now, wearing the number 2, right? From Troy Taylor Whiskey and some of these other guys, Mike Trout, they all idolize Derek Jeter. And why wouldn't he? An example of doing it the right way. In the biggest market in the world, New York, did it the right way. 5-time champion. Set the tone in the playoffs, World Series, however it needed to be. When you needed a big hit, here came number 2, stepping up to the plate. And that's who he was. So again, this episode here, it was long overdue. I know I could have did it a while ago. I just wanted to continue to hit y'all and let this, platform grow with the variety of sports that I do. Because I just don't, always focus on baseball. But, this episode right here is for Derek Jeter, the captain, Mr. November, the Hall of Famer. That's who he is. And he's meant so much, right? And I didn't even mention how historical his 3,000 hit was, right? The home run at Yankee Stadium. The man just had theatrics. He had a flair for the theatrics. That's who Derek Jeter was. As a fan, you had to enjoy what you see when he stepped to the plate on the field. He gave his all, 24, right? Like the new Charlie Hustle. I mean, you seen him play in Oakland. Shane Spencer overthrowing the cutoff man. That was instinct. Derek Jeter. A lot of players will never accomplish that. You got to appreciate greatness when you seen it. And, this episode right here was again, man, as a avid Yankee fan, love the Yankees, ups and downs no matter what. That's my team. And, Derek Jeter, the call for Bernie Williams, Paul O'Neill, that dynasty so far has been the last dynasty in MLB. And, it was a pleasure for me to even be a part of that. Been a couple of the parades, 2009, fresh out on bail, 1996. I missed out on 98 and 2000. Your boy was dealing with, his incarceration years. But it is what it is. I rooted and I followed the Yankees everywhere I went. You feel me? 1998, following the World Series, home run Tino Martinez against, Langston. I was in Green Correctional Facility, still cheering on my Yankees, still cheering on Derek Jeter in the beginning of his career. Now, could you imagine before I signed out, right? All the winning that transpired early in his career, right? Someone, lose the love, the lust for the game. He got paid. The accomplishments was there. Everything was there for him already. But Derek Jeter wouldn't stop there. He wasn't settled for that. And then he hit the mountaintop once again, right? In 2009. And that's who he was. That was the competitor, the champion, the heart of a champion. The heart of a champion was displayed once again. And, welcome him to the Hall of Fame. 1 vote short from being unanimous. It is what it is. You a hater. It is is what it is. Call a spade, man. It's your boy Big June before I sign out, man. You know, condolences to my uncle, my cousins, all my family. You know what I'm saying? Going through the struggle right now. They're in New York. We're praying for you. On this side, it's always going to be love. And, you know, it's a lot of things going on in this world, man. But we got to stay strong, keep your head up, and stay focused, stay sharp, stay blessed, man. Everyone, please. I'm out of here, man. One.